Hello there, my very good friends. On today's afternoon news video, Jade Cargill, she's pretty much back.
We got a lot more on the push of Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez.
More disruption from The Rock is on the way.
What exactly is going on between Matt Cardona and AEW?
Well, you'll find out. Yeah. I'm Andy Murray.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. Right, Jade Cargill. She's been gone for, I think it's about 95, 96 days, approaching the 100-day mark. Mm-hmm. She was written off WWE TV in November. Injury angle, car, whodunit, you know the deal. They've been teasing on SmackDown. Bianca and Naomi have been trying to figure out who did it. There was some stuff with Liv and Raquel, which led to something we'll talk about in the second news story. But ultimately, the whodunit is still in play, and it sounds like Jade's going to be back imminently. This is according to PW Insider. Mike Johnson. It's quite fun. I think there's a new PW Insider report on Jade every week, right?
Yeah.
Like every Tuesday, there's she's coming back. Training at the PC, she's coming back. And it seems that way. So the official line is that she's been injured. We don't know the nature of the injury or anything like that. Details have been pretty sparse, which is fair enough. But yeah, she could be back imminently, perhaps as soon as the Elimination Chamber in Toronto this weekend. So it's interesting timing with Naomi and Bianca losing the women's tag team titles on Raw this week. Obviously, Bianca and Jade were the champions at first. When Jade got injured, Naomi was like, "Hey, I'll step in." And Bianca was like, "Hey, we're the big three." So that makes a lot of sense. But now Jade's belt has been lost without her doing anything. It's a really interesting story hook for the three of them, potentially building to a WrestleMania match, you'd imagine. The time would be right for Jade to come back, assuming that whatever ails her is now cleared up and all of that stuff. So maybe we'll see her at the weekend.
Yeah, the Elimination Chamber obviously is, for the women's at least, is not just clouded by something like this storyline, but the fact that Rhea Ripley will defend the title against Io Sky on the Raw afterwards. So as of right now, the women's chamber, or as of Saturday I should say, won't know who they're going to be facing, even though we can assume it's probably going to be Rhea. We don't know that for definite. It could be Rhea, Io, plus the winner in a three-way. But that currently leaves the field kind of wide open, and Bianca and Naomi now without the tag belts, in that strange way wrestling works, become heavier favourites than they were had they gone in as champions. Yeah. Wrestling tends to find people failing upwards in that regard. And Jade Cargill returning to out potentially Naomi as the perpetrator or Bianca as the person that set it up. She theoretically has an alibi because she was in the ring at the time and the attack cost Bianca Belair a match that week on SmackDown. But that's not to say she wasn't looking to set Jade Cargill up. There was always rumours from the moment Jade debuted in last year's Royal Rumble when they did the kind of the mirror spot between her and Bianca that a feud would beckon between the two rather than them simply working as partners. Naomi's been a fascinating ingredient into this because obviously she, as you pointed out, was the one that stood to benefit the most from Jade's absence, has been the one being like, yeah, it's definitely them, yeah, for sure, because I'm sick of being framed with me, it's definitely them. So she pointing the finger has kind of made herself look the guiltiest. Could it have been the two of them working together to oust Jade? We were here before, all that kind of thing. So yeah, while it now feels like it's down to two suspects, we still don't know how that shakes out in terms of the WrestleMania match, who ends up on the heel or the babyface side of things.
Well, it was Eric Rowan, wasn't it?
Probably. Yeah, probably Eric Rowan, yeah.
I don't know how people have put this together. He's done it before.
Wyatt hijinks.
How have people not put this together?
Well, obviously, and this pays off with Alexa Bliss fighting Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. So we've done it. That's
for the rise to the spider.
Make the graphic right now for the rise to the spider. Someone keeps a spider in the Lily doll. You stick him on the line at WrestleMania.
Oh gosh, imagine that. The Lily doll could ride the spider to the ring.
Yes,
with the music.
Both of them winking.
Yes,
the entire time.
Yes,
couple of winkers.
Absolutely,
is what you're probably saying about us two in the comments now. But yeah, in all seriousness, very, very excited for the potential Jade Cargill Elimination Chamber return, and indeed who might win that match. Huge WrestleMania ramifications.
Yeah, they should do something chaotic. Like she should rip the door off or something. Like something badass.
Yeah,
why
cool.
not? Like, she's really strong. Could she just lift the entire chamber?
Yeah,
probably not. But why not?
I don't mind watching her try. Speaking of badasses in the Elimination Chamber, we've got to talk about Liv Morgan getting lots of praise, very deserved in my opinion, is old Livy Omega for the year she's had in the ring so far.
Don't say that around Sidgwick.
And that, sorry, I know that does offend people's sensibilities. Liv Ospreay has been kicking ass on Raw all year long, and that extended to her winning the tag belts alongside Raquel Rodriguez for a third time, record setters in the women's tag division with a victory over Bianca and Naomi in a critically acclaimed main event of Monday's show. And apparently this is not just the end of their push and how they're viewed internally within the company at the moment. Again, PW Insider, thank you for this one, reporting that the change has been planned for some time. WWE are positioning Morgan and Rodriguez for a major push following Liv's storyline with Rhea Ripley concluding on the Netflix debut at the start of January. Backstage reports indicate that WWE officials were pleased with the crowd's response and match's execution, no surprise there, but that Morgan and Rodriguez are expected to receive a strong push heading into WrestleMania 41. Yeah, love this booking, and Liv Morgan is working up to it. You know, she was taken out of a role that she'd held well as kind of like the main star of the women's division on Raw in 2024, but it's difficult when that happens at this time of year because you can accidentally find yourself out of the WrestleMania picture. Them winning the tag belts, to me, is a perfect bit of moving of the pieces because it keeps them in focus, as we've already talked about. It kind of frees Bianca and Naomi up at the same time for their story, and everyone can move forward at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. And the women's tag division, since its inception, has been crying out for feature programs between established teams, not just Natalia and Partner of the Week, or even like things like the various Rhea Ripley tag teams that have been her and someone she inevitably falls out with and then feuds with, or not throwing two people together and
actual angles, focus storylines between proper teams.
Definitely, and Liv and Raquel are that. Not only that, but they're good. I think that it's pretty interesting to view Raquel through this lens because she's someone who's kind of gotten lost a little bit in recent years. I think she had bags of intrigue coming out of NXT when she had that rivalry with Rhea Ripley and that really chaotic arena-wide match. That was really awesome. She had this aura about her. That's why people started calling her Big Mommy Cool. She did kind of feel a bit like Diesel. And it was a really unique aura for somebody in modern day wrestling. And then coming out of NXT, main roster doesn't really work out. She's obviously had some health issues in the past couple of years that have disrupted her career, unfortunately, as well. But it feels like she's really back on track in this little union with Liv Morgan. They're kind of similar but contrasting personalities.
Liv seems to really want it for her as well. She's working hard for her.
Yeah, exactly. Liv has worked extremely hard. Throughout her entire career, really, even when she was made to be Lana's wife or whatever that angle was supposed to be. But it's like it's really worked. It's really clicked in ring and out. I think that they're a really good tandem. Just need a few more to supplement them now. Obviously, you'd imagine that the big three will be over soon, which is a shame, but that's why you tell these stories. So it'd be cool to see them raise some other tag teams up around them. Obviously, you have various damage control pairings that you can throw in there. They've just released Isle of Dawn, so the unholy union doesn't really exist anymore. But even if the what's beneath the champions isn't necessarily the strongest division in the world, I think that the last couple of sets of champions have worked well for the belts, and of course they're going to be in line for a big push now. That's good.
They had a great match, did Liv and Raquel, with Dakota Kai and Io Sky en route to this title shot. If you run that back for WrestleMania, but you actually tell a story underneath it, presuming that Io does lose to Rhea Ripley, both of those are free. Raw's division is wrestling Triple H out of trouble at the moment because these matches are far superior to his bad booking. So this is happening every week in this Raw Women's division. So it's
like the anti-SmackDown.
It is. Honestly, they're in total contrast. If you look at Lyra Valkyria wrestling to virtual silence and having to get the crowd in versus Chelsea Green, like getting all of this noise but not really being given like interesting matches, they have the opposite problem at the moment. So shout out to that Raw division, kind of trying to wrestle Triple H out of trouble a little bit. They could probably get Io and Dakota back into something for this match against Liv and Raquel and maybe get it heated for Mania. We will see. The push seems to be on.
Why don't we just, everyone's booking these freeways and ladder matches at the moment, I'm not moved by that. Let's do your suggestion instead.
Don't love it.
Right, let's talk about disruption and chaos and the weirdest man alive. He's probably my favourite man alive, actually. The Rock. He's going to cause some more chaos, man. So we already know that he's going to be an Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
Right? He's already said that. When he said to Cody Rhodes, when he quoted Aphex Twin and said, "I want your soul," Cody Rhodes, he said, "I want you to be my champion," about 20 times. He's such a strange man.
Odd guy.
But
Odd guy.
he has promised more disruption to the order of the universe. He tweeted saying, "Thanks for watching the show. We got some disruptive moves coming up, so tune in. Love playing the audacious, unpredictable character known as the final boss."
It's my ass to win.
Toronto, I'll see you this weekend at the Elimination Chamber. He is promising more chaos. Now, we have no real... I don't know where this is going. I don't think he knows where it's going.
No, I think that's why you don't know, brother. It's because I don't think he does either.
But that's why I think it's really fun.
It has an appeal.
I am totally into the chaos, Luke. I like The Rock coming along, looking at all these little plans and going, yeah, that's nice. How about I do my thing instead? I think that wrestling is kind of predicated on a sense of outlaw unruliness and things never going to plan. I don't know what's up his sleeve, man. They're going to build this idea of Cody selling his soul on TV. They started it on Raw.
Yeah.
And then maybe, people. I've seen people fantasy booking like CM Punk in like a corporate role, which, look, I've been dying for heel CM Punk since he returned to AEW. It's like 4 years at this stage. I would love that. We'll just see where it goes. I was a bit annoyed when he said me and Cody don't need to wrestle each other. I'm not going to lie. I was like, well, you built to that last year, Dwayne, and it seemed really awesome. Yeah. So like I would like to see that, but who knows? I mean, the domino effect of the Dwayner getting involved and messing up a WrestleMania program is so interesting to think about. You think about like rumored triple threats with Punk, Rollins, and Reigns, but then if if he ends up wrestling Cody, maybe you have to move John Cena onto someone else.
Yeah.
And then maybe you need to...
Does Rock want Reigns still? So does that lift Reigns away from whatever he has planned?
You could pull him out of that, and then then CM Punk's left doing another singles match with freaking... Or do you pull CM Punk out and put him against John Cena? Or do you John Cena, Logan Paul, or something like that? All kinds of implications. I think, they have announced, obviously, that the winner of the Elimination Chamber will face the Code Man.
Yeah.
If Dwayne wants that to change, that I don't think that means anything. I don't think that means anything. I think that if the final boss walks up and goes, Triple H, this match no longer has that stipulation, it'll just change. The other thing is, what if he enters the bloody chamber?
What if he changes the design of the chamber to, rather than being a cage with 6 individual pods, it's just a box with lots of pictures of The Rock's face on, and you have to walk out of a Rock box face. Like Terry Funk would always come out of like sort of a big box and get a huge pop. So Rock's thinking, I know what I'll do. I'll put all of them in Rock boxes. And then it's like one of them's got some paper and one of them's got some scissors, and he calls it Paper Rock Scissors, and that's the new name of the paper. Because this is my point, right? All of the fantasy booking that I'm seeing is reasonable. All of the hatred you're seeing is reasonable. With The Rock, everything is nothing and nothing is everything, because the man can and will just change his mind and do things on a whim. He is, to me, and I use this term strictly when talking about creative influence and absolutely nothing else, he is a Vince McMahon mind in a Triple H world, and he is the only thing now that kind of resembles that WWE that I want to stay long dead in a WWE that I quite like. I understand the chaos element, and I actually side with your point about how there was a WrestleMania card that I wasn't loving the look and sound of. So the idea that something is like an earthquake to all of that and shakes the pieces up again, and we kind of have a second or third go at it, I'm not actually against that. I just wish it was a different kind of earthquake. God forbid I wish an injury on somebody, but like a change that is rational rather than irrational, and that's certainly what The Rock is. Look, I think we're enough days removed from this now to say that, if nothing else at Elimination Chamber, performances must improve. The Rock was terrible on SmackDown.
Yeah, it was.
And Cody and Seth were so great at getting that back on track. The little mentions by Punk and Logan Paul. All the wrestlers kind of forced to do the heavy lifting that The Rock failed to on SmackDown. We can at least, as analysts and fans and all, you can have your own opinions on The Rock's involvement and stuff. Better work on Saturday, please. If there is a script or if there's a format, follow it, learn it, scribble it down on your wrist, wherever you need. Make it make sense, because you've got better in you, great one, than you had on Friday.
I agree and disagree. I disagree. I like watching things fall apart, man. I'm a freak. I don't care what company it is. I kind of like watching a disaster unfold.
I get it.
I like watching bad movies sometimes, Sometimes a 2 out of 10 is more enjoyable than a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd argue that more often than not, that's the case.
I live my life like a 6.5.
There you
I spend my life with dice in my hand and all I'm ever doing is trying to roll
3
a 4.
and a quarter, brother.
I want to roll a 4. I don't like the risk of the 6. I don't like the darkness of a 1. I'll roll my 4s if I can forever and ever and ever.
But I think as well that the idea that The Rock isn't, the idea that he is just making this up as he goes along, I think is strengthened by the fact that the performances haven't been good.
Yeah.
Like that promo on the Raw Netflix was mess.
3 stinkers now.
Yeah. Turquinho is. That's what you say. That's what you guys say.
He plays for Sao Paulo.
Turquinho. The little turkey. That would translate in Portuguese.
Gobble, gobble.
The one on NXT was even worse.
Yeah.
He was so gotten to in that. He was like, shut up, Marks.
Yeah.
Like, you're The Rock. You don't need to give it. You're so successful. Why are you bothered by this?
Don't boo that.
But I think
SmackDown.
I think that the performance is being kind of whack gives credence to the idea that he has no idea what's going on. Because if you look at the performances in the build to last year's WrestleMania, when he was so locked in, like in that beatdown of Cody, in the post-WrestleMania promo.
Roman grabs the wrist.
Yeah.
I'm going to need this Rock. Oh, God.
When you see how locked in he was to that, and that obviously was a pivot and they planned out this whole thing, well, I think maybe that adds to the idea that he has no idea what's going on at the moment. And neither do I. I think just give me chaos. Chaos is as Darth Maul said, chaos is a ladder. He said that in Star Trek.
And first, Darth Maul's working Elimination Chamber.
Big finger, as he's known.
Rock coming out in like the cane makeup that Darth Maul wears with all the horns and all that sort of stuff. And that I don't know anything about Star Trek, but I do like the lightsaber that Darth Maul's got because it's a doubler, and I do like
you know what?
the
Phantom Menace is a bag of ass, man.
Is it really?
It's so bad. Have you ever watched it?
Nah, I've seen the first one 85 times because the kids like it.
There's like a whole movement in like these days to like reclaim it and go, actually, it's good. It's like, nah, sometimes things just suck. Don't do it. It's like WCW 2000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a turquinho.
I think William Shatner's performances are decent, but otherwise I got no Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree. Little finger's good in it.
I like the Spock fella.
Yeah. Spock. Spock's from Stargate, you idiot.
Spock's got big ears, but I tell you, he's got big dreams. It's Matt Cardona, and he's been living them for the last 20 years. He's a man that kind of invented the world that we're on here on YouTube. And he appeared as if he was going to break back into the mainstream via AEW, thanks to a feud he was having with Chris Jericho in Ring of Honor at the back end of last year, having spent years now carving out this entire new world for himself through GCW and the Indies and the like. There were then questions about his contract. He himself had talked about how there's nothing really on the table, but work is going to work, and you never know if this is true. Fightful have kind of cleaned it up a little bit, as they often do for us. Thank you very much. Quote: he was brought in for a short story, that being the Chris Jericho one. Again from Sean Rossap of Fightful: I've not heard of a contract being offered, and we'd never heard that he was planning on signing, but he maintains a good relationship with AEW. Yeah, he has done bits and bobs. He worked Cope, I think, on a Collision when Cope was a TNT champion. He came in as Cody's mate in 2020, but then there was a time when Cody Rhodes was like, it's not all friends wrestling, pal.
Yeah.
He worked the odd show, but nothing serious came of it. Chelsea Green's character was talking about wanting more presidential backup like Piper Niven, and that got me speculating that maybe that was for Matt Cardona. She'll occasionally wear gear that's inspired by some of his. He is never out of the conversation, and I think that's to Matt Cardona's immense credit. He's actually earned multiple different strands of credibility in the various avenues he's taken in wrestling, and good for him. But it seems, for now at least, with AEW, nothing doing.
Yeah, there was a report last year that came out saying he'd been offered a contract that he completely... He shot that out of the sky before it really even got off the runway. But like, I'm not privy to Matt Cardona's personal dealings or whatever. But he doesn't strike me as a guy who needs a full-time contract, really. Like, I'm sure it would benefit him. Like, I'm sure, going to WWE or AEW and getting a big fat payday would be great. But like, look at his success as an independent guy, as a freelancer, going to all these different companies and raising his own profile and presumably commanding bigger and bigger fees throughout. Yeah. You could make the point that maybe that in terms of like buzz, maybe that's peaked a little bit, right? Like, I was so in love with the Nick Gage and John Moxley and all the GCW stuff. Yeah. So maybe, it's not quite as headline making as it used to be, but Matt's still doing incredibly well for himself. I think that he is a case study on how to just carve your own niche and tread your own path without the support of a major promotion behind you. But like if he did end up signing with somewhere, yeah, he'd be paid handsomely and he'd be great on TV. He's from day one in this business. He has basically been a self-starter. From all the Long Island iced tea stuff.
That's what they call it.
That's what they called it.
It was Z latte stuff. His channel. He was grabbing brass rings, wasn't he? He was doing what he was asked to do, and the brass rings were just being lifted higher and higher and higher, and not given to him. So,
and then he was pushed off a stage by Kane.
Yeah, he sure was, brother.
Yeah.
So exactly, would you even want to come back when you can live the life that he's lived ever since? It's never, is it, with Mark Cardona, I think.
Like Justin Bieber said, never, never.
That's right.
Land.
You won't take my soul. The Rock. That was a
You won't
Beyonce
take
song.
my soul.
You won't take my soul. I'm giving it to CM Punk. That's Beyonce said that. So who you doubt
That's the Queen.
Queen Bee.
The Queen Country Album of the Year.
That's right. Yeah.
Aye.
Everyone was happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, look, on the same album, not only did she take Jolene.
Yep.
And flip it around. You listen to Dolly Parton, Jolene. It's like, oh no, Jolene, leave me alone.
Lean Joe.
Yeah, leave me alone. Yeah. Like, oh no.
That is the song.
Don't take my. It's so soft. It's like, don't take my man away. Beyonce's is like,
It's heartbreaking.
I will kill you. That's the Beyonce version. I'm gonna kill you, Jolene.
Jolene, F off. That's
I'm gonna hit you for Batista bomb, Jolene. Stay the hell away. Go, Jolene. So she not only turned the softest song of all time into a badass remake, she also made the Beatles good. Which is, how do you do that?
She did Country Beatles.
She did Blackbird.
All right, okay. I genuinely didn't know this.
And it's actually good.
I know my
Actually good.
I know my country and western music. Did she do the Smoking Guns theme?
No, but rumours has it that on their tour she walks out to the Godwins.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Don't go messing with a country babe, right? Instead of because she's Beyonce.
Her Hillbilly J, her famous manager.
We should leave.
Yeah, what are we doing here? But yeah, shout out to Beyonce. You made the Beatles listenable. It's an impossible task.
I don't endorse this.
You do. They suck. And if you like them, hey, you're entitled to your opinion. We just disagree. 100 greatest, 50 greatest wrestlers in the world's right here. No Beatles are on there because they can't work. Ringo Starr cannot hit a power. The TV just went off. This is a great time to end. Bye.